Hi, ladies. I'm recording this session, and before we continue, I just want to make sure that everyone agrees with me recording, because if we record, then we can also share it later on with many more women. So welcome to this session of Women Leading in Change, the teaser sessions. I mean, this is a special time, and we in Female Wave of Change, in this unprecedented situation, we do what we are best at. We bring people together, our followers, our members. We collaborate on things, and we take action. And that is what we have done the past week. So we did sessions and webinars about how to manage the corona pandemic, how to manage the stress, maybe the fear even, how to keep calm. And we're also adding webinars on what does it do to you and what can you do. And then later on, and we're already doing that now and also the next week, we'll add sessions on, you know, how can we envision this future? Because a lot is happening currently, and we can also take the positive side about it. From that, we can take the opportunity side of that and think about a better world that we want to do and we want to work on. So my name is René van der Burg. I'm board member of Female Wave of Change, and I'm very happy and proud to introduce to you Mireille Toulekima. She's our ambassador for Asia Pacific, based in Perth. And very happy, Mireille, that you're here. And I leave it to you to introduce yourself and dive into our session of today.
Yeah, thank you, René. It's really a pleasure for me to be back, especially as part of the Women Leading in Change program. Like René was saying, my name is Mireille Toulekima. I'm based in Perth in Australia. So I'm the ambassador for Asia Pacific for women, for Female Wave of Change. And my background is in engineering. So I'm a petroleum engineer by background, but with time, as I've worked almost 25 years in this industry, and I've actually sidetracked to more leadership management and doing coaching as well and teaching. And I've been one of the teachers for the Women Leading in Change, the part 1. I've been one of the teachers for leading in complex and unpredictable world. And this time I'm coming back to be part of the Reshape the Future program that Female Wave of Change is launching. And I will be teaching a program called Understand the World. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about what this program is all about. And if you have questions, just please let me know. And I think this program is actually coming at the right, this session is coming at the right moment, because with the coronavirus, there's a lot of things that we need to understand, either about ourselves, either about our environment, and this training is really spot on to bring the right tools, the right strategies, and help people who are actually struggling in this very complex situation that the pandemic has created. So just to start with the session, like I said, the coronavirus pandemic is here. I mean, it's actually creating a very fragile context for all of us, and I know that it's many of us are scared. We completely lost sometime, and even desperate, because we don't know what to do. We don't really understand what's going on. We are under pressure. Some are, we're stuck at home. For people, sometimes it's very difficult. And the big thing is on, when we look at the economy is, going downward. Business and jobs are being lost. And it's, but what we have to understand is that it's not the end of the world, and there's hope. like Renee was saying. And when there's, there's a will, there's always a way. And most importantly, the message that I want to pass through this program is that, the understanding of, the different dynamic and system at play is really key for us to play and grow in this type of environment. Those, where there's a lot of uncertainty, complexity, and we really need to spend time to understand what we're dealing with, not only understand ourselves, but also understand what's going on, the environment that we are in and the world around us. And what I tell, a lot of people is that, the coronavirus is actually, the way I see it, is actually part of a process that is preparing us to become, real leaders and game changers. And I really, through this course, for situation that we similar situation, I really want to stress that, to look at, opportunities into it, and looking at this situation as something that we can grow from. Yes, the growth is going to be painful, or it's already painful, but it's an opportunity for us to really grow our leadership skills as well. And even before, before the virus outbreak, we were already witnessing a lot of changes and a lot of disruption. And we were really seeing the world becoming more and more complex, especially when we look at the ongoing fourth industrial revolution, with all the innovation going on, all the, all the digital world that's really, the presence that's really growing. And in a way, the coronavirus, it's actually just an accelerator. It's accelerating things by increasing the level of uncertainty and bringing the already existing volatility to a different level. And it makes, it actually makes me think that, you have to get used to the uncertainty and the volatility, and really treat, this as now our new norm, because especially if we want to stand still and still be, relevant in this world. And so it's for us the opportunity to open up, and look at, like I said, look at the different opportunities that are available, and also, open ourselves to develop an optimal growth, and be focused on solution, have really a solution focused mindset, and really adopting the right attitude toward this pandemic. And then, it's gonna help us to create the right coping mechanism to become, better at what we are doing, and improve whatever we've failed to improve, actually. And it's very important that we look at it that way. And that's what this program is going to do. Is really going to help you, to give you the tools, give you the, the strategies, and show you how you can actually use a crisis or a challenge or complexity to create an opportunity for you and for people around you, and bring value into the process. So the program will, really look at all of that, and provide all the tools for you to really understand, yourself, like I said, and also understand your environment, and the most important thing is how you relate with the relate to the world that you live in, or the environment that you live in, and understand how, people who are around you perceive you and how you perceive yourself, you know, in relation to the rest of the world, and how, you know, this perception actually affects how you, the decision that you make, the choices that you make, your behavior, and also, you know, to some extent your belief. And that's a key thing to know, because you have to know that it's a full system. We are part of a system. We are in the middle of a system, so we need to understand ourselves, which is, you know, internally, and know how we react, but also understand how we connect with other people and how we respond to any event or a situation that we are in. So that's a key part of the program that I really going to spend time, you know, on. And so the session in itself, it's gonna be, the first thing is to, you know, identify and really for each participant to define the key challenge that they are faced with. Because the first thing before you take any action is to understand where you are. And I know sometimes it starts with panic. And that's why we put, you know, program like that to help people to not start with panic, to start first with the understanding of what's going on, and first identify where they're struggling and what are the challenges that they are facing in a unpredictable situation. And the second thing is to understand, you know, and reflect on who you really are, because, you know, you've identified your challenge, and now the next step is to understand who you are and know, you know, the values and the tradition which actually shape you and shape the world that you've created around you. And you know, and then from there we can try to understand how people exercise their responsibility and their and how they make their decision, how they make informed decision, starting by identifying what's the problem, understanding themselves, and, you know, responding the right way. And that's those are key steps for you to get comfortable in a very uncertain and volatile environment, because as you know, as human beings, we always want to have control on everything, and it's not always possible, especially when we are struck by something that we didn't actually see coming. So it's important to take, you know, take this approach of, you know, identifying where we're not comfortable, the challenge that we have, and then, you know, relate to what's going on around us. So a lot of self-reflection, but also a lot of understanding what's going on around, and how we can connect it with us, and our own personality, and how we respond to events normally. And another thing that I really want to do, and I'm going to do as part of this program, and using the different framework, strategic tools or processes, is to help, you know, participants to enhance their level of resilience in front of adversity, which is one key one. As I said, you know, when the new norm for us is now uncertainty, volatility, complexity. So it's important that we build up our resilience so that we can respond adequately and not panic when we are faced with adversity. And also those strategy framework and processes are going to help us, are going to help the participant to see how they can start new initiative with the objective of, you know, creating opportunity for themselves, instead of looking at what they are lacking. For example, I can see right now a lot of, like I said, people have lost their job, there's lost their businesses. There's so many things that we've lost, but we shouldn't actually focus on the lack. And this program is about focusing on opportunities more than on what we've lost or what we're lacking. And so I'm going to provide the tools and processes and opportunity and all the help you to find the ways that that you can do that. And in a way, the program will be very practical, but it's also going to focus on soft skills and encouraging really people to use their soft skills as well in those time of uncertainty and those times where they are greatly challenged, like the one that we're living right now. And at the end of it, it's really, you know, the program is really about building on individualities, but at the same time being conscious of this collective, collective action that we can have, and how we can blend the two to help us to cope with a very uncertain and unpredictable, world, and be ready for anything that can happen, and be confident that we can use those tools to help us to go to the next level, instead of being paralyzed by fear and really being desperate, completely desperate, and for some people end up being completely, mentally challenged and really destroy themselves in a way. So it's gonna be about really understanding how to navigate, all these interrelationships that we have, with the world, either, on the social part, professional part, political part, and economical part, and all the dynamics that this complex environment is bringing, and in a more traditional way, how we can use those same tools the next time we'll be challenged again, heavily challenged like we are right now with the coronavirus. So, because what we often see is that leaders they often rely on a certain type of leadership, and it's a leadership that work well. It's very linear. It works well when the set of all the circumstances are predictable. But when it's not, then you need to use a different approach, and there are tools for that. I've actually introduced some of them already as part of the first part of the Women Leading in Change, and this time we're just gonna look at other tool, and see how we can be able to be comfortable and lead in those moments where basically there's a lot of desperation, and we are afraid of taking any action, or afraid of doing anything. So in a way, the coronavirus has just, is just showing us that the time has come to really, looking at, from a leadership point of view, looking at broadening, the traditional way that we lead, and how we make decision, and really look at more at a leadership that can, and a new perspective on leadership that can look at, a complexity and how we can face this complexity going forward. And I think that's where the coronavirus is kind of part of the process, like I said, and it's actually going to help us to be ready for the future and anytime when an unexpected thing strikes. So a lot of opportunity for participants to really start to get into more depth into how they can lead in unpredictable time, how they can understand their world internally and externally, and how they can connect with this external world around them, and how it actually shaped them in terms of their value, in terms of how they react to situation, and in terms of how they're gonna lead others as well. And I think it's just spot on. I actually, I wouldn't actually miss the opportunity to be part of this program, to really get to a different level as part of the transformation of ourselves is concerned, and also to get ready, because starting a series of disruption right now. It started with with the coronavirus pandemic, but I'm pretty sure when we move past this pandemic, there's gonna be other challenges. It's not, and the volatility is gonna increase, and we really need to be ready for this new leadership that those disturbance and those disruption are bringing. I don't know if you have questions or anything that you want me to talk about in a bit more detail.
Yeah, Tanya or Adriana, if you have any, I definitely have a question, but I want to give the floor to Tanya and Adriana, of course.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I was part of Women Leading and Change program last year, but now it's different. It's good that it's different. It's different circumstances when you learn this and encourage people to join. The question from what you presented, how COVID-19 or whatever is linked to it can be an accelerator also for the society in a way. Not just us going through transformation, but us being respectful towards each other and towards different professions, because this is what is missing now. Not working, we are able to collaborate on human being level, but as professionals, how we can use the COVID-19 accelerator mode or to collaborate among professions, because we all together have something to say or develop as professions and to create something new. So maybe just if this is linked to the topic, or maybe just in general, your review on it.
But definitely, because that's why I'm talking about understanding yourself, because that's the first part, and understand how you relate to the world around you. So the world around you is, you have the people and all the circumstances that you have to go through. And then you can, in this complex environment, then you can cope. And so it's never about just you. You basically have not to understand how you can collaborate, understand how you come across, across when you deal with different people, to be able to create the right opportunity, or to really embrace everybody as one, and then have this, create those opportunities together and work together. It's not going to be about, just me anymore, because otherwise you're going to get left behind. You really have to embrace this new complexity as a one body, and it means that you need to really understand what's going on, how you function, what have shaped you, because we've basically come from different environment, and we need to understand how what we represent actually, the effect that it has on others. and adjust if it's needed, or find a way to connect so that we can solve those complex issues that's gonna actually keep coming in the future.
Can I add something to that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, this is really our time to reshape the future, and and that is where it really comes in. You know, it's not just, you know, looking at the world and looking at the opportunities, and that is so important. But this is really our time to consider how we think that the world should look like in the future, and that we can reshape it. And that is, I think, the beauty of what is happening right now. This is really speeding up that process, that we can, as feminine leaders, decide on what we think that the world should look like, and act on that, and create our opportunities in that part of, you know, of what we feel that should be coming.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Inga, and especially for us women, this is the time. Everything is gone to zero. So it's our time to come and bring something on the table, something that we've, you know, we fought, and something that we know it's gonna work, and bring it now. Because if we leave this window, I think it's gonna be very difficult later on to do that. So it's really our opportunity. Like I said, it's an accelerator for us to become, you know, very, you know, to go to the next level as far as leadership is concerned. And like you said, Ingun, for women, that's the opportunity. That's really the opportunity to come and say, and we've seen it. I mean, women are actually stepping up as far as, you know, when we see head of state, and we see it's working. This feminine leadership is working. So it's time to push for it, and really reshaping the world, and so that, you know, we have a voice, and people understand that the leadership that we're bringing is actually something that can, you know, something very positive.
Adriana, you want to chime in?
Yes, please. So thank you, Mireille, for the
You're
lovely
welcome.
introduction, and Renee for the floor. I would like to explore a bit more about the various relationships you spoke about. So you mentioned that we will have a better understanding on how to navigate all the relationships we have. So at the social, economic, and professional level. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Okay, so what I'm saying in what I wanted to, and obviously it was just a teaser, but as part of the course, you don't want to look at just one dimension, you know, as, you know, when you talk about your leadership. Not only you will have, like I said, you will have to look at yourself, you will like to look at the world, but also you will like to look at different aspects. So the political aspect is going to be part of it. The economical aspect is going to be part of it. The social aspect is going to be part of it. You don't want to dissociate all of that, because that's why we actually are in the where we are, because we've basically let, you know, the political you know, sector just, you know, do what they wanted to do, and then completely cut off the economy, completely cut off the social. And what we're left with is a complete disconnection between what's going on. So the people in the political arena are actually talking about something that nobody understands. They can't relate to what's happening socially. And that's the problem that we have right now. So we really want to, as part of this program, what I really want to say is that it's all coming together. We can't actually separate any of them, because if you're not if you politically you're not managing well, it's going to have an economic impact, it's going to have a social impact, and it's going to have, you know, a health impact. So we can't actually separate them. We have to put them together and understand the interrelationship between all those different aspects and different sectors.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
I know from being in the training myself as one of the project lead or the program leaders, is that you combine, and this is also what you've done now, you combine a great overview of like a theory behind it, so what's happening with the change and what sort of change and uncertainty there is. And then you also give very practical advice. So you've been talking about it, and I would love if you could give Adriana and Tanya, the ones in the call, but also the ones who are watching our recording later on, that you give them one of two of these great practical advices or tips that you also use in the training for reflection now. Because why we want to do these short recordings also because we want to give already the women who are watching now one or two teasers to say, okay, yes, this is really something that I can think about, that I can practice right now. So it would be great if you can share one or two of these practical things with us.
Yeah, so as part of the program, there was, and I think a very good framework that I've presented, the Cinephile Network, which was looking at how, we're taking this, how we actually taking decision in the different circumstances that we are. And there were some tips as well. And one of the tips was to understand that, you have to accept that you will not always get it right, and really, be confident and take action, even knowing that, because we're not perfect. We're probably gonna, make mistake, and that's okay. But it should start with, being okay, not being perfect, not understanding what's gonna be the end result of what you're starting. So that's one key aspect because I think a lot of people don't actually take action or are afraid or frozen because they don't really know what's going to be the outcome. And again, like I said, we're now really living in times where everything is unpredictable, it's complex. So you don't really know where you're going to end up. You can only, like I said, analyze, take action, and then move to the next step. So that's one tip already, prepare yourself mentally to say, okay, whatever action I'm going to take, there's no actually linear answer to that. So I really need to understand that, I have to take this action knowing that even if it's not I know it's not perfect, but just, keep going. So that's one aspect that we looked at during the course. And another thing is to reach out as well, to reach out to expert or anybody, especially when you know that you're completely stuck or you don't know. It's okay to reach out to individual who can actually help you in the process and give you a feedback on what you're trying to do, or help you to take the next step. So that's I think those are the two key ones that we mentioned last time that are really good, especially when we're completely lost and we are afraid and we're completely tetanized and we don't know what to do. So, but you have to know that it's okay to take action and to move forward, even if you don't know where you're going, because
it's always
a lot of us
to continue.
It's always to continue and then to move instead of
Yeah.
staying static.
And if you move, then you see what happens and you see the consequence, and then you can say,
exactly.
And
so it's another point. It's another point of reference for you to know what's working and what's not working, and you can adjust going forward. So it's always a step, even if you get it wrong.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think these two are great because at the one hand, it's a call for action. Keep moving, keep doing. keep discovering what works and how you can make adapt and move course, but keep going, keep moving. And the other one I also really like, because that's also what we are about in female
about here.
Reach out, ask for support if there's anything, whether it's on your mental health or your stress management, or on your economic situation, or on how can we build a future. And you already mentioned these women who are our new role models. I mean, they were our role models.
Yeah.
They continue to be. So isn't it fantastic that these women are stepping out and they're doing things
exactly
differently? I mean, and for me, it's a combination of, at least there's empathy, there's putting yourself in the other person's shoes. So what does it mean for the children, the woman, the man in our society? But it's sort of tied into this strong action.
Yeah.
It is not being afraid of taking decisions. Decisions may not always be easy, but they take the decisions. And it's just fantastic to see this empathic mode coupled with this action, the willingness to take decisions and action, which is, I think, the future.
Exactly, and it's it's strong. It's a strong advice for us women as well, is that we sometimes have we know better, but because we don't take action, then we get stuck and we don't actually contribute. So it's really the time now to come out and say, okay, we know better. We can, we can prove it. We put, you go to the next step and you keep going. Yes, at some point you're gonna stumble, but that's okay. You have to look at the big picture. Am I progressing here? Yes, you're progressing. You learn something through this failure. So keep going. So
that's great.
That's great.
I'm looking to the time a little bit, because we really want to have these sessions a bit short, so that it remains interesting and doable for people to watch. So I would, at this point, would like to really thank you, Mireille, for sharing your wisdom, your theoretic wisdom and expertise, and then, of course, giving us some of these practical tips that are really helpful in any situation of an unprecedented change which we are in. I want to thank the women in the call for their attention, for your questions and your interaction. And I'm looking forward to meeting all of you again in one of our next sessions. Thank you. And
thank you very much, Renee. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for
Bye.
the platform. Bye.